What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the Spyderco Manix 2 Lightweight. This is a 3.375-inch blade in Maxamet super steel. That is a powder-formed steel that is not stainless, so this one will develop a patina, as mine already is. I weighed this in at 2.9 ounces. It has a full flat grind. Spyderco does a great job on that particular thing. Of course, it has the Spidey hole for great flick action. We'll talk about that in a bit. It does have the cage ball bearing system, which essentially it's very much like an axis lock or a bar lock, where there's basically a cutout on the back of the tang there, and it just utilizes a spring here to hold that back, so it can roam freely. And if you take a look at that particular thing, you'll see that the spring and force just puts the bearing right back on there, and that's how it's going to lock. This particular one is $210 at present. Ouch. That is very pricey. Obviously, that's going to be one of the cons of this particular knife, but you are paying for that super steel. Nobody else really uses this but Spyderco that I've found. In terms of comparison knives, I'm only going to actually kind of show a couple. One would kind of be use, and the first one would be the Spyderco PM2, of course, another Spyderco. And I think on the little bit smaller side, again, when you get that great front choil there, is and you're talking to super steel, is I would go for the Native 5 lightweight as well. So that's just has a little bit shorter blade, a little bit smaller knife, but I think that is actually a comparable one. Of course, the PM2 is going to be a natural of that because they essentially share a very similar blade length on that one. On the other side, I want to talk about carry, and the carry of this particular knife, I would say, is probably comparable to the Indela. This is a mix of the Endura and the Delica. You can kind of see that. That's very similar carry. The Manix 2 is just a little bit bigger. So I think that would be one that is similar. And of course, this has a lockback though. And the blade lengths are about the exact same. This is the Endela in K390. So again, if you're looking for a super steel, another super steel that is not stainless, that might be an option. And I think for myself, probably would be in the end. Let's get into the pros and the cons of this thing. This thing is very light, as I mentioned. It is 2.9 ounces. It has a great slicing blade with that 0.13 blade stock. So this did slice a little bit better than the PM3 and the 2 that I kind of tested against. Very comfortable ergos. It does fit a medium-large hand, both here as well as, of course, using that front choil, which really allows you to bear down when you're cutting something hard on this one. Though it's not the most stout blade that you have out there. So the ergos are really nice. It does have a fairly nice pocket clip. I don't entirely understand why they didn't use that full rounded over pocket clip, because when I kind of look at this one in my hand, it's not as though that was going to get in the way. On some knives I can see how they use this drop down clip, but this one, it is comfortable in hand and it's a nice clip. I guess it's to give you just a little bit of carry there, a little bit of pull to get that out of your pocket instead of a full deep carry. So would I prefer the other? Maybe. I might try it out myself, but of course then that would affect the landing there for this particular one. So I think that is a plus on the whole. And the ball bearing lock is very fidget friendly. You can use the middle finger flick for that one. And one of the great things about this, much like the compression lock, is your hands never need to be in the way of the blade. You can just pop that right down and give it a little bit of English, and that'll get all the way down. On the cons, I think it does carry a bit big in the pocket. Like I did say, it's a little bit taller than both the PM2. If you take, I don't know if we can see that there, but it is a little bit bigger than the PM2 in terms of carrying the pocket. About the same length, same exact length as the Indela, but again, the Indela is a little bit shorter as well. So I did notice that particular thing didn't go so well. It definitely hogs up your pocket there a little bit. I think the plastic cage here, I actually appreciate the fact that it's a different color, just for visual, quick grab on it if you want to get it open that way. But what I don't like is it's very plasticky. I think they could have very easily replaced this with I'd like to possibly replace it with a Flytanium titanium cage there. I don't know about this one though. We're going to talk about the real ugly con, which is in fact the one that's next, I guess, is they peen this thing shut so there's no screws and you can't do any maintenance on it. Of course you can change the clip, but this thing, unlike many of their other lightweights, which actually have screws, I mean, talking about the Native 5 lightweight, you can do maintenance on this thing. The Indela, lightweight, you can perform maintenance on this thing. And the Delica itself, again, these are ones that are very similar with these lightweight scales, and I just don't understand why on this particular one. It obviously has something to do with the cage ball bearing lock there, but so that for me is a really big drawback and actually a killer for this price. I would, in fact, I'm going to get right into the final thoughts on this one. But I did enjoy this knife. It's a great cutter. I'm a self-proclaimed Spyderco fanboy, but this one I just didn't even really think of looking at that when I was buying it, because I had seen other ones that had the screws on it, or you know, serviceable screws. So for my money, I would say this is not worth that price. If you want something in Maxamet, get yourself like a PM3, something like that. You know, you can get others. You can get the Native 5, you can get the new Sage 5. They're all serviceable and don't have this peening, which prevents you from doing any maintenance on it. I would go with one of those. You know, and the BD1N steel for the regular one is great too. Very stainless. And they also have lots of other super steels out there. You can go to the Knife Joker and get the M390 blade special edition. I've seen some with M4. Then, of course, they have the standard one in Blurple, which is the S110V. So, for my money, it is a great knife. This is not a great value for your money. It is a great knife, but for my money, this is absolutely not the one to get. You know, like I said, for my part, I would definitely shoot for one of those other ones if I was going for that. But, you know, in reality, if I was okay just going a little bit smaller, I'd probably then just shoot for the Native 5 lightweight, or, you know, go with even one of the lockbacks. You know, they lose a little bit of fidget factor, but like the Indela. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, and have a good day. Take care.